as submitted.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilman Spread. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilman Harvey, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
Councilman Saucedo?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Nay.
Councilman Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Councilman Brackett?
Aye.
And Councilman Spread.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with 6 ayes and 1 nay. We're on 11C. Presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution accepting the completed work and authorizing final payment of $2,303.08 to Smith Seating for work performed on the Quiet Zone project. All work under this project has been completed, appears to meet the requirements of the plans and specifications, and has been approved by the city engineer. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Harvey with a second by Councilman Saucedo. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Councilman Brackett, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilman Fitzgerald?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Spread?
Aye.
Councilman Harvey?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Aye.
And Councilman Saucedo.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with all ayes. We're on 11D. Presented for City Council's consideration is a resolution authorizing the assessment of unpaid abatement costs to private properties. The nuisance abatement costs for snow, junk, and weed removal total $8,011.45. The administrative fees are $1,800 and the assessment fees are $2,000. The total fee being requested for assessment at this time totals $11,811.45. Is there a motion to adopt this resolution as submitted?
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Brackett with a second by Councilwoman Brockert. Is there any discussion?
I would just encourage people that if they receive a notice of something that falls under this category of cleanup required on their property, that if they have any questions about it, they reach out to City Hall right away. I had a question about something that was on there, and then I got an absolutely sufficient answer on it and relayed that back to the resident, but they did
Okay.
wait quite a while before bringing it to my attention, and I'm happy to take questions on it, and I'll direct them in the right way to
Sure.
get their answers. I just would encourage people to ask earlier than later.
As soon as possible.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank
Thank you.
I also have something.
Go ahead.
I'd like to see if we could have you come up real quick for a second and just mention to us what we could, Dave, in regards to snow removal for sidewalks. I'd gotten a call on this earlier today in regards to what is our requirement from removal of snow. If somebody says, hey, we removed my sidewalk, but the neighbors aren't doing theirs, is it 24 hours or is it 48 hours that they have to clean that sidewalk before it becomes a nuisance that is reported to the city?
24 hours.
Okay.
And if they don't have it done, we'll get it done, then they show.
Per this, so,
Then they pay the bill or they get put on this.
okay, so just as the snow comes down, basically we have 24 hours after the snow is stopped, correct?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Snow emergencies, the
Yeah,
one side of the street or the other side of the street, that's another thing. We have 3 community service officers that after a snowstorm, because we really have to get things cleaned up, everybody knows that we basically get out there and take.
so they would be calling your department for that?
Yes, in fact, I wanted to add to Councilor Brackett's comment. Most of the notices, in fact, I can't think of many others, come from our department, the Community Development Department. So instead of just calling City Hall, just call our department. We're the ones issuing the notices, so we know
Well,
what's
I'll
best.
be sending them your way. I did
Yes,
get a
that's
call on
okay.
that today, and then they basically were concerned about their wife trying to walk through this yard
Yeah.
and cross the sidewalk, and they couldn't. And they didn't really know the exact rule, if it was 24 hours or 48 hours after the snow stops, they would have to be notified, and they said it's already been whatever, since the last couple of days, they still haven't cleaned it. So,
Yes,
that's all I
Councilman
have.
Harvey, go ahead.
Dave, are you mainly complaint-driven, or do you actually go out and look?
Oh, we're out there patrolling,
Okay?
but we don't see everything. And so we do rely on the population to let us know if they see something. And so I would say, historically, we've been complaint-driven. We're going to be putting a lot of effort into customer service, where we're preventing instead of playing defense. That's coming this year.
If you find a sidewalk that needs shoveling, do you first go up and notify the resident? And if you do, you say you gotta get this cleaned by
Yeah.
24 hours from now, or?
Right, there's an actual notice that we send out or put right on the doors. It's not a yellow posting like you gotta move out, but that's a different kind of
Right.
deal. But we just have to let them know, hey, you gotta clean this up. And we usually, it's stated, the code, what time they have left, what time, they've got so many hours from this notice, that kind of thing. And so we do inform them pretty well.
Any leeway given to residents whose sidewalk is so close to the street that the snow plow will throw it up on their sidewalk? Because that stuff can turn to concrete, pretty quickly.
Well, I'd almost refer back to the Public Works Department, because a lot of people, they've seen it, and you guys have seen it, where people shovel out into the street figuring they're gonna get away with it, and then a snowplow truck goes by, just like you said. So, it's one of those, and don't officially ask me how to spell that, but, but I do know that the Public Works has to deal with that all the time, and we see it happen, but I don't know how to prevent someone from doing that isn't gonna end up getting penalized by getting
Well,
dumped on.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking so much about them shoveling their walk out into the street, but the street putting it back on top of their walk,
Yeah, I would, like I say, refer to the Public Works Department.
Because I'd imagine most times what comes back onto the walk far exceeds what let out into the street.
That does bring up a question real quick that I've got, which would just be, because I have noticed people doing that where they're clearing off their walk and shoveling it out into the street. And do you know off the top of your head is there a fine for that? And if so, do you know what it is?
It is, and it's in the fee schedule. I'd have to refer to that, because
Okay.
everybody here should have a copy of that.
Yeah, and the fee schedule's online. I didn't mean to put you on the spot for that, because I don't know it either. I know where to find the information.
I don't know what it is.
But the fee schedule is in, I believe, at the end of the city code.
Yes, it is.
And so that's available on the website.
And there's also there's a brief article that Kevin did and a link to the city's website with a lot of information regarding snow removal.
Okay, yeah, because that's definitely something people should not be doing. You should not be shoveling into the street. That's dangerous for a variety of reasons, as well as it may just end up back on the sidewalk anyway. So,
Yeah,
People
get it-
do get frustrated when they didn't shovel it into the street, but then they get it all cleared out of their driveway, and then the trucks come by, and now it filled back in their driveway with stuff out of the street, but there's no other option, I know. Go ahead, Councilman Harvey.
This may be a little bit, it's on the same subject, I guess. Are we anticipating a snow emergency this weekend, or is that kind of up in the air?
There's a lot of differing forecasts.
He's got the crystal ball right there.
You can take all the forecasts and average them.
Well, at this point, I don't anticipate a snow emergency being declared. I have a problem with that, naming of that anyway. It's not really a snow emergency, it's more of a snow removal access type of thing. It just gives us an opportunity to get
Snow
more cars
emergency,
off of
yeah.
the streets. So call it what you will, but at this point, and even at the last snow that we had about 8 inches of snow, and we didn't need to declare emergency. Our crews are very good at getting that picked up. Last that I saw was about 5 inches for Friday night and the Saturday, so I don't anticipate needing a snow emergency to remove that either. So
3.
we'll see what happens. Hopefully less, yeah.
There were a significant number of cars plowed in the streets, though, without the emergency, and it becomes their responsibility to remove that snow.
You done? Okay.
Yes,
Thank you. Hearing nothing else, Councilman Saucedo, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilwoman Brockert? Aye. Councilman Harvey?
Aye.
Councilman Spread?
Aye.
Councilman Malcolm?
Aye.
Councilman Fitzgerald?
Aye.
And Councilman Brackett.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted with all ayes. We're on 11E. Presented for City Council's consideration is a request to approve the issuance of a purchase order in the amount of $50,000 for the purchase of a Muscatine Special Operations Response Team vehicle. They're calling it BAT. The police department has secured outside funding resources for the remaining $150,000 for this purchase. Is there a motion to approve the request as submitted?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
Your Honor.
We have a motion by Councilman Saucedo with a second by Councilman Brackett. And for the discussion part, we're gonna have Brett give us a little slideshow.
Yeah, I'll try to keep it brief. Basically, what we're looking to do is purchase this vehicle and looking for funding from the city to pay for part of that, a fourth of it. So just a little history of the Muscatine Special Response Team, or we used to call it the SRT team. 1998 is when the police department started our team. We had about 8 to 12 operators at that time, and we just did it ourselves. The county in the early 2000s, I don't know exactly what year they started, they actually formed their own team as well. So in the last couple of years, we've been deciding that it's kind of foolish to have two different teams. So this year, we finally worked it out with the county that we're working with them, and we created our MSORT team, which is the Muscatine Special Operations Response Team. So at this time, we do train monthly, sometimes 8 hours and up to 12 hours at times as well, and 16 for the month. So we're trying to keep up to the national standards that we need to do. Currently, we have 24 operators, snipers, negotiators with this team. So again, we train monthly on that. See if I can, I'm not real good with these
Right arrow.
technical skills here, but
Might want to put your glasses on.
yeah, exactly. There we go. Yeah, now I can see. Okay, so the vehicle that we're looking at is called the Ballistic Armored Tactical Transport, or BAT, B-A-T-T. This is a tactically designed armored vehicle. It's utilized for armed subjects who would otherwise be too dangerous to approach, allowing officers to deploy less lethal options from a position of safety, which would be inside of the vehicle. It's used across the country and will aid in the effort to rescue officers and/or civilians in their need. The vehicle may help drive up to the fallen officer and allow the team to provide lethal cover from inside the vehicle, because it does have gun ports in it. So we never would have to get out of the vehicle at that time approaching. It comes with a multi-angle ram, which we'd be able to go through doors or windows or the side of the house if we needed to as well, instead of sending the officers up with a shield to actually go up to the door, which is quite dangerous in most situations. It also allows us to utilize it in smaller spaces because it's 33,000 pounds less than our current MRAP, which weighs 57,000 pounds. So a lot easier to manipulate turns in smaller places. It's equipped with a rail system, and that is to access the rear of the vehicle and transport injured people from the scene if we have any, and remove people while providing cover with the law enforcement. This is a picture. The one on the right is our current vehicle. Again, that weighs 57,000 pounds. That's actually a government vehicle that we do not own. It's actually, they call it the 1033 program in the United States, and we're part of that program. We used to have rifles, but we don't have those anymore. Somebody else has those. If we do get rid of that and you do allow us to purchase the one on the left, we would actually get rid of that one on the right, and hopefully somebody will want that vehicle in the United States somewhere and come get it. It's not actually ours, so we can't sell it. I'd rather sell it, but we can't do that, so we don't own it.
We don't have to transport it anywhere, do we?
I'm not sure of that question. I think whoever, if they want it, they will have to
They
come
come
get
and
it, because
get it.
we actually had to go to Houston, Texas to pick ours up, or pick that one up. So we had a local trucking firm went and picked it up for us. When will it be utilized? During warrant and high-risk apprehensions, barricaded subjects, hostage rescue, vehicle assaults, officer rescues, correctional response, and suicidal persons. That's just a few of the times that it will be utilized. Past incidents that we've had from 2016 to 18, we've had 22 incidents involving our MSORT team. 10 of those incidents, we had our MRAP was utilized during those incidents. All the incidents either involved barricaded gunmen or warrants that we were serving to seize guns and/or drugs. Why is this vehicle needed? It allows us to have a tool that can be utilized for our tactical needs. It provides a breaching capability, which MRAP isn't capable of doing, other than we can drive that through a house, but we don't want to do that. So.
Didn't breach anything I've seen.
Much better maneuverability than the big one. It's got shooting ports that I mentioned earlier for less lethal encounters. We have sock rounds and stuff like that that we can utilize for people. That it hurts them, but it doesn't. It's not lethal. So provides room for more operators. And with the current one that we have, we've been having a lot of mechanical issues because it is quite old and it hadn't been used a whole lot. And finding parts for that and actually having somebody to work on it is getting kind of cumbersome. So that's why we're looking to try to get a new one. We do have $150,000 secured at this point. The total purchase price would be $200,000. Kent Corporation is gonna give us $50,000 towards that, as is the Howe Foundation. The Muscatine County Sheriff's Department is also kicking in $50,000. And I'm here tonight to ask that you would allow us to spend $50,000 out of the police budget. And we actually would have to supplement some of that out of our forfeiture account as well to make up that $50,000. Any questions?
So what's
Go
the,
ahead, Councilman Harvey.
I assume then this vehicle would be shared with the county, just like you're doing it now, and you keep the county in,
Yes, yes. That's the whole idea, is we train as one team now, so.
where would you normally house it?
Well, we have our MRAP out at the DOT facility that we just purchased right now. We did have it at Public Works, but it frees up a lot of space. We can utilize that building now.
Probably where you,
That's probably where that's our intent. I mean, everybody wants that building out there, so we're kind of shuffling for position on it, but,
I'll park it in and then say, come and get it.
well, I think I've made that comment. But, yeah, that's where we plan on storing, is at the DOT facility.
Councilman Fitzgerald, did you have something?
yeah, what's the base vehicle of this? What type of vehicle is this unit on?
Oh,
Like a Humvee?
I'll defer to Lieutenant Keys on that one.
I believe it's a Ford 550, so
Oh,
those
okay.
units come different. This is a Bones basic model to meet that 200,000, and then in the future we can do the add-ons that we just cannot afford to do right now. So this is the base model, and that's where it sits at 24,000, maybe 22,000 pounds.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I just had,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, Chief. Long time no see. Is there any additional equipment cost? Because I'm asking this because when we're going to purchasing new vehicles for patrol, the year before we bought the vehicles, we bought Mars lights and other stuff. So is there some additional equipment we need to add?
Well, not for this one. Like Lieutenant Keys said, if there's something that we want to add on, we may be asking later on for that. But again, it would be a purchase with the county and ourselves. It wouldn't just be the police budget that's come out of.
Okay.
At this
You
point,
don't
that's what we're
know.
trying to do, is keep this as a group thing.
Okay. And so basically $50,000 is pretty much get it, you'll park it, and you'll use it.
Yeah, it'd be ready right when we get it, correct?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was just gonna say, one of the things I like about it is, you know, as you mentioned, the smaller size, the more maneuverability. You know, it's a little less military looking, for one thing. And the key thing that you mentioned that I really like is the ability to secure a situation and have the option for less lethal interaction as far as the person that you're interacting with, and still providing the safety to the officer. So I mean, this is something to me that if we buy it and you don't have to use it, I'd much rather that happen than
Right.
the alternative. So I see no reason to have any
Well,
issue
one of the
with that.
last incidents we had, I think that was in the initial stuff that you had, we could have used it that day, because we actually sent 2 officers up to the front door and the window that we put it, and he was right there at that window, so
Right.
it could have gotten really bad.
Yeah, I definitely support this, so.
Councilman Harvey?
Does this type of vehicle require like light bars and a computer on the inside for communication?
I don't think we'll put light bars on it, but
Internal? There is internal lights in this. This is set up.
I was-
you're talking lights on the top.
Right.
We're not gonna put lights on it.
okay. And
We're not gonna drive it that fast.
do you need a technical computer on the inside, you know, to match with your squad cars, et cetera?
No, I don't. We've got computers that we could take in it, but we won't have one in the vehicle.
So there's, that will
At least
not
that's
be
not
re-
what I've been told.
Okay.
Anyone else? Thank you, Brett.
Thanks for your time. I appreciate your support.
Nancy, did you want to say something?
Just a clarification, the agenda's written as though we're gonna issue a PO for 50,000. We're gonna be the coordinating agency, so we'll
Sure.
issue the PO for the full 200,000. And the sheriff's office has agreed to then pay
They'll
their
pay
50
us.
through us, so the PO will be 200,000.
Understood. Hearing nothing else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The request is approved with all ayes. That concludes our agenda. It was very short tonight. Councilman Harvey, did you have anything to add?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Councilman Spread?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Councilman Malcolm?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor, thank you.
Councilman Fitzgerald?
Nothing at this time, Your Honor.
Councilwoman Brockert?
Nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Councilman Saucedo?
I just wanted to make a comment to the Public Works Department in regards to their great efficiency in cleaning up the roads. There was a lot of calls in regards to the difference from what we had the prior snowfall and how much of a difference I think we had on this one. And so I anticipate we'll have a good cleanup as well coming up in this one that comes up. So I just, big shout out to your team. Good work that you guys did on that. Thank you.
Councilman Brackett?
I had a couple of questions on status. Let's see, the first one is, do we have any updates or do we have any time frame on potential solutions to the Lake Park Boulevard flooding that we had talked about previously, since we've heard mention of the property that was originally going to be utilized for that tonight? It reminded me that I wanted to ask on that update.
Please.
I apologize for not letting you know I was going to ask about that. It kind of had slipped my mind
No,
until that
that's-
came up in conversation.
That's fine. We don't have a whole lot to add at this point. We are still investigating that.
Okay.
We don't have a better solution devised yet. I think we're still assessing the quantity of the problem, and then the necessity of a massive, expensive solution. So
Okay.
we're still working our way through that.
Okay.
Okay. Was there something else you're gonna ask?
No, not for you.
Not for you.
My next question is on, do we have any updates on time frame for the property at Cedar and Mulberry as far as what they're doing? Do we know anything about that? I've still been getting a lot of questions about the old Scorpion Bar. Not Cedar and Mulberry, I meant
Fifth and
Fifth and
Mulberry.
Mulberry, sorry,
Mulberry.
yeah. Fifth and Mulberry.
We received we've Dave and staff have made some minor adjustments to the contract, had that legal review today, and I believe Dave has spoken with Greg and the property owner, and everything we'd like to bring forward, subject to council approval. So please, here in the very near future, just need a signature.
Okay.
That meets the requirements that were set out in the original.
Okay, because I did see some cleanup occur, and that was good, but then I hadn't seen anything much since then, so.
Let me see if I can update you on the entire project. First of all, we had an asbestos assessment done, asbestos as well as lead-based paint. The state paid for that assessment, so that took some coordination and
Right.
time. And then, looks like Monday, and I just got this late today, and I didn't get a chance to tell you, Craig, but late today, I learned that they're scheduled for Monday to come up and take care of the asbestos and the lead-based paint.
Okay, good.
And they anticipate to be done and out of there on Monday. So that'll be done and we'll have certified clean building.
Okay.
And that's part of our arrangement as far as the development agreement goes. The development agreement, it's exactly what Greg just summarized for you. We'd gone back with several different versions of the development agreement with the adjacent property owner.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems synergistic that makes sense. I'm waiting for, well, last week, we were hoping to have this tied up for this week, so we can get it in front of you for consideration. But we're looking at February 7th. If I had my crystal ball out, that's the plan, to have everything. They'll sign the development agreement, which we've got legal review on. They'll give us a check for $25,000 and a performance bond for your consideration to approve the project.
Okay,
And it'll have somewhat of a schedule on Exhibit A as to the time frame. And right now, currently, it sits at about 6 months.
okay,
And that's all based on the original bid. We do provide ourselves some leeway in there, obviously, given the time of year that it is.
Mhm.
So we can adjust those dates, but
okay, perfect. No, that's the update I was looking for, is just to find out where we were at.
Well, there was
and-
also a car accident there that ran into the building.
Right,
And
right.
so we finally submitted the claim for that. Now this was going in this direction. And it's gonna be somewhere between $12,000 and $15,000 on that.
Okay,
So that was also a cleanup of other things that we
Mhm.
had to do with this building.
right.
So in a sense, we're ready to go. We will be ready to go next week.
Okay.
As far as our parts of it to be done.
And just to repeat what I heard you, I believe I was hearing you say, is that in the agreement with the party that's going to be taking ownership of the property, there is a time frame that they have to complete the project in. And so there'll be something that we can say if it's not moving fast enough.
There's revision language in there,
Okay,
in the agreement. So if they
And the
don't,
performance bond.
right.
Yeah.
So, that, and some of these things I know, I just want,
That'll all
I'm
be
getting
in-
these questions, so I
well,
wanted to
that'll
make
be
sure that
all
it's
in
understood.
front of you for consideration. You'll be able to read it yourself.
Perfect,
it should match the bid, or conform with the bid requirements. There is a reversionary interest in there if they fail to meet the requirements. But Dave has, I believe, 4 steps, 4 periods from beginning to end. Get the building sealed up, get the roof done, work
Sure.
on the interior, and dates associated with that, with the ability to give us a little bit of flexibility given the weather.
right, absolutely. As, and I definitely want to make sure that, we're flexible enough that, they can meet their goals. I just want to make sure that we,
Right. And then-
have those goals in there so
Well,
that we.
there's also the provisions that they have to meet code. And
Right.
you gotta get their building permits, and which goes through that review process.
Right,
And so we'll be doing that.
okay,
And that'll give us the protection and safety, life safety stuff that we need
sure,
for that sidewalk, for everything.
right.
That's important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, okay, that was
Thank
the
you,
only
Dave.
questions I had on it. Thank you.
No.
And that was all I had.
Okay, thank you. We do have a budget session starting next week, and a reminder that the public is welcome to attend any or all of those that you choose to attend. They are held in the lower level here at City Hall, and the first one starts next Thursday. We don't have council meeting the next 2 Thursdays, but we'll be having budget meetings on Monday nights, Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and on Saturday. Go onto the city website if you like and see what the breakdown of the itinerary for the budget sessions is, and come to any of them that you are interested in. Staff, did you have anything tonight?
Just in addition to that, the first one is in council chambers, the initial presentation and handoff, and then Saturday morning, we'll start at 8 a.m. in the lower level.
And you are all welcome to come to that. I have decided to cancel Coffee with the Mayor on Saturday in light of Brian saying that we're going to have 5 inches of snow. So I don't see that as being a successful event. Our city guests next Tuesday are Jackie McCoy with Goodwill Employment Services, and Mahaley Bennett is doing a fundraiser for the domestic violence shelter through MCSA called Love Shouldn't Hurt. Reminder, tax season is coming up, and if you have any concerns or do not have access to getting your taxes done with whether it be technology or just the know-how, MCSA is putting on several different times where they're going to have someone there to assist and have the computers there for people to go online and be able to complete their taxes at little or no cost. So please contact them if you have any questions. Eagles and Ivories is coming up next weekend, the 24th through the 26th. And a reminder, Martin Luther King Day is Monday. There's no school for in-service, but City Hall and all of its programming is open that day. I think state offices are closed. County's open, aren't they? Yep. The last thing that I wanted to ask for an update on was the bridge lights. I get calls regularly on the bridge lights, and I don't know if anybody has an update or would like to do it at a later date. Anyone?
Tina, was that,
Jim?
I'll go for it.
All right, Mayor, Council, this is really quick. Musco completed the work and repaired the damage that the contractor had done a couple of years ago, but in doing so, there was some incompatibility between components, old and new, and when they plugged it all in, they burned something out. That's the best I can give you. It may not be exactly what happened, but something similar to that. They've ordered new equipment. We're into the dead of winter now. They really don't want to put people on the bridge in this kind of winter, and so they have let us know that they anticipate to get to it in the spring. So lights should be back on in the spring, and I know it's been a long time waiting, but Musco's working on it. All of the costs the city will bear for that, they've drawn the line on that, and the rest of this is all on Musco. Any questions?
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.